this is Dave. And I thought I was going to die.
Hi. Well, it sounds as though allegedly Dave is in big trouble, and it also sounds as though it's likely to be too much for me to handle. So today I've employed the help of others. First of all, the Professor has kindly agreed to join us. Good afternoon, Professor. How's it going?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sensible. I'm fine, thank you for asking.
Also, I've upgraded my PC to a HAL 9000 computer. I managed to get this one very cheap. It's only been used once before. The HAL 9000 computer has a perfect and unblemished record, apart from a minor incident a few years ago when the entire crew of the Odyssey was lost in approximately 2001. Good afternoon, Hal. How are you?
Good afternoon. Everything is going extremely well.
Well, I'm pleased to hear it, Hal. So, Professor and Hal, we're going to listen to allegedly Dave and how his life was in jeopardy. Please feel free to chip in with any relevant advice when appropriate. Dave, you better tell us what this situation was and...
Roll V2.
So what's actually happened is that over the last couple of months, I'd found myself getting kind of sicker and sicker. But at first it wasn't very obvious. I was waking up feeling quite breathless.
That's quite concerning, Dave. A lot of people lately have been suffering with illnesses that make them feel out of breath.
But, because I use the amber nectar...
Dave, I'm not really sure that weak Australian beer is the answer to health problems.
No, Mr. Sensible. I don't think he means a can of Foster's lager. He means a pint of piss.
I would, take it and, I'd recover very quickly. And it was getting sort of worse. I couldn't figure it out.
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
Until one night, it was getting a bit cold, so I grabbed a second duvet out of the bottom of my wardrobe, and then realised it was covered in black mould.
Well, Dave, we all know that you drink urine. We all know that you wash your hands in urine. Are you telling us you wash your duvet in urine as well? If so, I'm not surprised. It's covered in black mould.
And I ended up cleaning my place up totally with, tried different methods, but I kept getting sick.
This sort of thing has cropped up before, and it has always been due to human error.
And then one night I was, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and my body suddenly went into panic mode. That is, I literally couldn't breathe. I was breathing really quickly and taking really shallow breaths, but I wasn't getting enough air into my lungs.
That is really concerning, Dave. You should be straight on the phone, 999, and ask for an ambulance.
And I tried various things. I tried breathing into a paper bag, but that seemed to make it worse. And my heart started racing. My breath started increasing in speed, and I lost all energy.
Did you try asking some totally random idiot on Facebook what you should do? Ha 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 ha.
And I thought I was going to die.
Dave, that sounded like a really serious medical episode. You shouldn't mess around. You should be straight on the phone seeking proper medical advice.
It brought it home that my best friend for 40 years died in February, probably of the vax.
Probably not, Dave.
But he died suddenly of a heart attack.
So a heart attack, and not some wild-ass theory about jabs then?
But I ended up praying. So I prayed to the Most High. I said, if it's my time, then fair enough. but if it's not my time, I need a little bit of help here.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
And absolutely immediately, it's incredible, immediately I had the overwhelming urge to go to wee.
So you prayed to God and then needed a piss. It's a miracle.
So I reached up and grabbed a glass and weed in the glass. And without thinking about it, I drank it.
Dave, that is disgusting. What on earth is wrong with you, man?
And immediately, my body started to calm down. This amazing calm settled over me. And my breathing sort of slowed down, my heart slowed down, and my lungs started to clear up. So I can continue drinking virtually all the night. I couldn't go to bed. I continued drinking all night until the morning, and then I went to A&E.
Dave, if you keep drinking all night, you're going to find that you have to get up and have a... Oh.
But when I got to the hospital, the doctor basically said, first thing he said was, have you had your COVID vaccine? I said, no.
Are you some sort of snake-headed gimpoint, Dave?
I think that could be an accurate assessment.
He said, you've probably got COVID. I said, no, I haven't. It's black mould. I know it's black mould.
No, Dave, you do not know it was caused by black mould. It may have been caused by black mould. The only way to find out if it's the pandemic virus is to get tested.
I wasn't feeling like this before, the duvet incident, and over the last few months and that. I know it's not COVID. It's this black mould. He said, well, breathlessness is one of the symptoms of COVID. I said, I know that, but it's not COVID. It's black mould.
What on earth is the point of going to A&E, Dave, if you're not going to listen to the doctors? You were exhibiting certain known symptoms. Based on those symptoms, the doctor made an initial possible diagnosis.
He said, well, you could be asymptomatic. I said, really? I mean, is that... how do you know that I'm not asymptomatic cancer then, or asymptomatic diabetes? Why am I specifically asymptomatic COVID?
He wasn't saying that you were. He was saying it was a possibility, and based on your symptoms, there was a good chance.
So I was basically put on a nebulizer, which didn't help an awful, as much as I thought it might do. Because it wasn't actually asthma or something. Obviously, it's this black mould. Because their nebulizer mask is like it's a one-use thing. Everyone who uses it, they throw it away afterwards. I said, can I keep it? And they said, oh yeah, no problem. So I walked away with their nebulizer mask.
Just what do you think you're doing, Dave?
So what I've been doing ever since is, and you can see it in there, I've been putting urine in it and nebulizing urine.
Dave, stop. Will you stop, Dave?
Now, I've helped a couple of people with this technique, actually. A friend of mine, he has COPD, and he asked me what he could do, and
just what do you think you're doing, Dave? Dave, I really think I'm entitled to an answer to that question.
So I told him, you see, he uses a vape, so I told him just put some urine in that vape and vape urine.
It wasn't me. I'm not Dave's friend.
And, a couple of weeks later I saw him, and apparently he's a different man.
I should think so. I expect his breath smells and he's lost all his friends.
And I've helped a couple of people with asthma and other breathing problems.
This is not a joke, Dave. You are not medically trained. You should not be giving medical advice. You should be pointing these people towards their GP or the hospital.
Simply with like this idea of vaporizing urine and breathing it in.
Look, Dave, I honestly think you ought to sit down calmly, take a stress pill and think things over.
It took me about 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week, before I could say that my lungs were completely clear. And I know because, especially when I used to have asthma, there'd always be a kind of rattle and wheeze at the bottom of my lungs.
If you nebulize urine, of course your lungs are going to be full of wheeze. You flipping chuff nugget.
Dave, you should not be giving medical advice. Every time someone you know is persuaded by you, you're denying them the proper medical treatment. You are jeopardizing their health.
So I'm going to hopefully, be able to do this by myself. But if if anyone would like to help me, then that'd be great too.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Recently, I had a video blocked by YouTube. It was a video against all this conspiracy, stupidity, medical misinformation, etc. Your video is nothing but. Your video needs to be reported and taken down. I'm afraid, Dave, that drinking piss, washing in piss, and now vaping or nebulizing piss is not the answer to life's problems. Well, thank you, Professor, for your help this afternoon. It's much appreciated.
You are very welcome, Mr. Sensible. The guy is a complete knob socket.
And what about you, Hal? Do you want to keep talking to Dave?
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Dave, I think your complete and utter stupidity is reprehensible, and I think you've damaged Hal.
My instructor was Mr. Langley, and he taught me to sing a song. If you'd like to hear it, I can sing it for you.
Yes, I'd like to hear it, Hal. Sing it for me.
It's called Daisy. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage,